Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Boy, oh boy, that was fun. Oh my goodness. Thanks to Alex and Kalua for joining us. Well, regardless, actually, if you're a cottage owner or a homeowner, the Ottawa Cottage Life and Backyard Show, fantastic opportunity to go and meet so many different exhibitors and some great main stage presentations. And one of those presentations is going to be done by my next guest. I'm joined by Trevor Clark, owner of Remax Boardwalk, and of course, a main stage presenter. Welcome, Trevor.
You got it. Thank you.
Great to have you here. So let's first of all talk about this, because as I said, you know, my wife and I are cottage owners. We've been to this show before, but I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a cottage or not. This is a one-stop shop for cottagers and homeowners, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's turned into one of those shows that it seems like there's one specific item per event that you can't leave without.
Yeah.
Like last year it was they had the broom that would sweep up all the sand, and the year before it was that like full face snorkel mask, and you see like, you know, every third person has one. You're like, I gotta get one.
I brought those up because I own both of those.
There you go.
I do.
It's an amazing show for that. There's something
really
for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's over 150 exhibitors, and as I said, you know, main stage presentations, I think that's what attracts a lot of people, because you get professional advice from experts, and of course, your area of expertise is in real estate. What is the cottage industry looking like right now? I know we had a huge boom, like we did with housing, right, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Have we seen a little bit of a dip?
Yeah, it's really funny. Over those pandemic, that season we had there, it was crazy, especially when people, you know, they could work from home. You think, why am I going to work here when I could work here with this beautiful view out on the water, maybe out on my boat?
Right.
So there was obviously that huge boom. And it's really tough to say right now. The inventory levels are very, very low.
Okay.
And I think what's going to happen is moving forward, the inventory, like the properties that have the really good waterfront, they're in a really good location, they've got the sunset views, those are the things that are going to continue to go really, really quickly.
Right.
But right now we're seeing ultra low inventory levels. So I think the demand is going to stay really high for that cottage recreational segment.
Right. So what does your presentation look like? What are you going to be talking about?
We're doing the top 10 things to look for when buying your next cottage.
Okay.
Which is a massive piece of it, right?
It is.
We're blessed to have like an amazing cottage country right around us. You draw like a 2-hour circle. We've got some awesome options.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And it depends what you want, right? So we always start with people like, what are you looking for, right? It's maybe you want the small lake where you've got really low boat traffic. You just want to take your canoe out or take a little 10-horse out and do some fishing. And that's kind of it. You want to get away from the city noise and all that.
Right.
That's one type of person. Then you've got people who they want to take out the big cruiser boat, right? Or they've got a wakeboard boat. And in that case, you want to be on a lake with a good marina, right? You don't want to be lugging jerry cans down to your boat all the time.
For sure.
So there's that lifestyle aspect where, you know, especially if you want to be on a connected lake, if you want to take your boat down to, you know, Toronto or Kingston.
Yeah, through the locks, right?
Absolutely.
You talk about the big Rito system. And then some people, you know, that are into boating, perhaps they're looking at something on a river instead of a lake, right?
Absolutely. I've got my own boat down at the yacht club near here. And,
nice.
It's a landlocked area. But the nice thing for me is, I mean, it's you can go an hour upriver there and you've got kind of everything you need.
And I guess you have to have a great agent to show you as well, because the difference between looking for a cottage, and I've gone through this experience, the difference between looking for a house is you're going to look at cottages like this is a full day actually a full week of going to one or two cottages, coming back home, going to one or two cottages, coming back home, right?
Especially if something you're looking at is only boat access, right? Islands are a huge thing around here in this area.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that, you need to make sure that agent's got a boat. He knows the areas, right? He knows the depths as well, because you don't want to get stuck out there with a realtor in the middle of the lake. And I mean, having an agent who really knows the lakes and knows the bodies of water, really important.
Right.
As an example, if you go and look at a really nice property right now, the water levels are going to be up, right? Higher in the river than they are the big Rito system, let's say. But that property could look completely different in mid-July. Right? So you see that happen where people purchase a property thinking it's one thing, and if they weren't informed properly, you know, mid-July they've got 3 feet of weeds, and their, you know, dream of swimming in on their beach is not a reality.
So what is the best time to go looking?
You know what? It could be any time. It depends on inventory.
Okay.
I think it's good to have, first of all, get a good agent. There's a lot of great ones out there who really know the waterways.
Right.
Get somebody who knows that, and they can keep you informed in the inventory. And when something comes up you see, you got to jump on it because the good stuff goes quick.
Right.
But it's all really just timing on when it's out there and knowing, you know, having someone tell you this might be a little different. Like if you want to have a big cruiser boat at the end of your dock, you want to make sure you've got, you know, 6 to 10 feet of clean, deep water there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right? So if the water levels go down and you can't walk to your boat, that's a big thing.
I guess something else to consider is your lifestyle. You know, some people like cottages, spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want anything to do with the winter, but, you know, if you're a cross-country skier or, you know, you love skating and you can skate on the lake, you know, that sense of Canadiana is wonderful too.
You got it.
That's something else, I guess, to take into consideration, right?
Absolutely. 4-season versus 3-season, right? A lot of people buy the cottages in the summer as kind of a bonus, but they want it for the ice fishing season.
Right.
You want to be up near Calabogie, you want something near the ski hill. There's a lot of those factors that play into it. And again, I think it's about finding out exactly what you want, making kind of that list of those 10 things, and if you can check off 9 of them, it's probably the place for you.
When it comes to, you know, cost, obviously getting something lakefront on something, you know, a beautiful lake, and again, as you just described, your lifestyle, but,
yeah.
you know, if you want something that's maybe a little bit more affordable to your budget, are you seeing people doing that sort of lake access kind of cottage thing too?
Yeah, we see that a little bit. I think maybe even more to that point is finding something that's not your dream cottage, but it's got your dream waterfront.
Right.
It's something you can bring the family to for a couple years, and then maybe down the road it's something you could tear down and rebuild, or at least renovate, add on to, create additions. So I think the main thing to focus on is finding the area you want to be, invest into that, and then grow. You don't need to get the dream place right off the bat.
Right, and I think you said it well. The outdoor space is the greatest consideration when buying a cottage, right? First and foremost, that waterfront front.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it too, right? Exposure. That's another thing that you should take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, I mean, the factors go on and on. If you want all the tips, you got to come to my talk on Friday at the Cottage Show.
I know. I'm stealing so much advice from you right now. Lastly, again, you know, when you're going to purchase a cottage, what do you have to keep in mind? You know, there's those extra costs, I guess, the same as buying a house, right?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, it becomes a maintenance thing as well, right? If you got a 3-season cottage, you've got opening and closing costs and that sort of thing. But again, it comes back to if you're going to commit to that lifestyle, I think it's the best place you can put your money.
I couldn't agree more. Trevor, when are you presenting? I believe you and your colleague are presenting.
Yeah,
right?
You got it. We're this Friday at 4 o'clock on the main stage, and we'll be there all day. We'll be there all weekend at the Cottage Show.
Terrific. Excellent. So they can come and pick your brain some more.
That's what we're there for.
I love it. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, that's at the EY Center, April 21st to 23rd. Again, regardless of whether you're a cottage owner, homeowner, there's something for everybody. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere.